It is a warm spring evening in Las Vegas, Nevada in April 1997. Tourists flood the strip, neon lights flicker against the desert night sky, and laughter pours from the casinos. But away from the glamorous facade of the city that never sleeps, a young woman named Ginger Rios vanishes without a trace. What begins as a romantic trip for business turns into one of the most chilling murder investigations Las Vegas has ever seen. This is the story of Ginger Rios, a talented and beloved woman whose trusting nature led her into the arms of evil. Her disappearance shocked the community, and what investigators would later uncover was something that nobody was prepared for. Ginger Rios is 33 years old when she decides to accompany her husband, Mark, on a business trip to Las Vegas. She is vibrant, ambitious, and known for her warm spirit and stunning beauty. A singer and aspiring performer, Ginger is excited not only about spending time with her husband, but also about exploring potential opportunities in the entertainment capital of the world. It is supposed to be a quick trip, just a couple of days of networking, sightseeing, and a little fun. But it ends in horror. Mark Rios and Ginger arrive in Vegas and check into a hotel just off the strip. Everything seems fine until April 4th. Ginger leaves the hotel room, telling Mark that she is going to visit a bookstore she heard about. It is a little independent shop that caters to performers and entertainers, filled with self-help books and materials about the entertainment industry. She never returns. When Ginger fails to show up hours later, Mark becomes worried. He calls the police and reports her missing. Initially, there is not much they can do. Ginger is an adult, and she has only been missing for a few hours. Police suspect she may have wandered off, perhaps exploring the city on her own. But Mark insists something is wrong. Ginger would not leave without telling him, and she certainly would not vanish without any of her belongings. Investigators begin retracing Ginger's steps. They learn that the bookstore she visited is run by a man named Raymond Joseph Bruns, a former cult member with a disturbing past. Raymond runs his shop in a small commercial space that doubles as a self-help center. His reputation is shady. He presents himself as a spiritual guide, a mentor, and even a therapist to vulnerable individuals seeking guidance in their careers or personal lives. Police quickly realize that this is not just any bookstore. This is a front for something far more sinister. When officers visit the store and question Raymond Bruns, he is nervous. He admits that Ginger did stop by that day. According to him, she came in, browsed some books, and left without incident. He even claims he offered her a few motivational tapes for her career and said she seemed enthusiastic. But something feels off. Investigators are not convinced. Mark continues to pressure authorities to look deeper. He begins handing out flyers, talking to locals, and appearing on local news to spread awareness of his wife's disappearance. The pressure builds, and detectives return to the bookstore. This time, they ask to search the premises. Raymond hesitates, but eventually agrees. Inside, nothing seems out of place, but a strong chemical odor leads investigators to a back room. There, they discover a freshly cleaned carpet and an air purifier running at full blast. Something is wrong. As forensic teams are brought in, they uncover faint traces of blood under the carpet. DNA testing confirms what Mark and investigators feared: it is Ginger Rios. At that moment, the case transforms from a missing person investigation into a homicide. Raymond Bruns is arrested. Under questioning, he begins to unravel. He confesses that Ginger came to the store, and after a short conversation, he tried to sell her some self-help programs. When she declined, he became agitated. What happened next is horrific. Raymond lured her into the back room under the pretense of showing her more tapes. There, in a sudden outburst of violence, he attacked her, strangled her to death, and then tried to dispose of her body. He claimed it was not premeditated. He said he just lost control, but investigators believe otherwise. Raymond had a pattern of manipulating vulnerable individuals. His self-help store was a lure, a place where he could gain the trust of women who were chasing dreams. Ginger was one of many who had entered that store, but she was the one who never walked out. The body of Ginger Rios is discovered buried in the Arizona desert, dumped in a shallow grave not far from where Raymond once lived. The community is heartbroken. Ginger's family, devastated by the loss, holds a vigil in her honor. Her story captures national attention. People are horrified that someone so full of life and potential could be taken so cruelly. And for what? A moment of rage, a disturbed man's twisted power trip. The trial of Raymond Bruns began in 1998. He is charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and obstruction of justice. During the proceedings, more disturbing details come to light. Witnesses testify that Raymond often spoke of controlling others, that he bragged about being able to manipulate people with ease. Some even allege he had connections to cult-like ideologies, promoting dominance and submission as a way of life. Mark Rios takes the stand, describing the agony of losing his wife, the weeks of uncertainty, and the horror of learning how she was killed. His testimony is powerful. The jury listens closely. When the verdict is finally read, guilty on all counts, there is a wave of relief. Raymond Bruns is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But for Ginger's family, no sentence can ever undo the pain of her loss. Ginger Rios' story is one that echoes through the years. It is a cautionary tale of how evil can hide in plain sight, cloaked in charm and false promises. Her death revealed the dark underbelly of predatory manipulation masquerading as self-help. And it also revealed the power of community, the way her husband, the media, and concerned citizens came together to find justice. But there is more. Ginger's case would later be used in law enforcement training programs to help detectives understand the behavior patterns of manipulative killers. Her story helped improve missing persons protocols in Las Vegas. Her name, her face, and her memory became symbols of resilience and justice. It is chilling to consider how a simple bookstore visit could end in tragedy. But that is what makes this case so haunting. Ginger Rios did nothing wrong. She trusted, she explored, and she dreamed. But she crossed paths with a man who saw her not as a person, but as an object, someone to be used and discarded. That truth is what makes this case unforgettable. As the years have passed, Ginger's family has worked to keep her memory alive. They have spoken out about the dangers of manipulative personalities, advocating for better safety measures for women in vulnerable industries. Her story has appeared in books, documentaries, and podcasts, each one reminding the world that behind every true crime headline is a real human life. This is the tragedy of Ginger Rios, a woman who came to Las Vegas chasing dreams, only to meet a nightmare. Her voice was silenced by a man who hid behind self-help slogans and fake wisdom. But in the end, her story speaks louder than ever before. And that, perhaps, is where we find a small glimmer of hope, that even in death, Ginger Rios continues to shine a light on darkness, helping others recognize the dangers that hide behind a smile, a handshake, or a so-called mentor. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe to Dark Case Diaries for more gripping true crime content. Stay aware, stay cautious, because sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who seem the most helpful. This was the story of Ginger Rios, a voice gone too soon, but never forgotten.